everyone, and welcome back to the Rotary Wheel. My name is Sean McCartney, and I am your host of the Rotary Wheel. I'm also the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club. A couple housekeeping items before we get rolling. There's a phone number scrolling on the bottom of your screen right now, and you can call that number for two things. One, if you have any ideas for our show, and two, if you'd like to be a charter member of our Rotary Wheel fan club. That's right, we have a fan club. Okay, with that, let's transition to our guest of the day, and that is Ray Presgrave. Hi, Ray.
Hi, how you doing, Sean?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. And so Ray and I are going to be talking today about Rotary International. And so before we get rolling on that, Ray, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Placerville and what you're up to nowadays?
Well, I've been a resident and a landowner in Placerville since 1975.
Okay.
And I moved from Colorado, and before that, Silicon Valley. I've worked at the Intel Corporation. As a matter of fact, I was the first employee of the Intel Folsom site.
Well, that's neat.
And later on, I started my own company with my wife.
Okay.
And it's called California Integration Coordinators. It's an electronic company. And a couple years ago, I retired.
Well, congratulations. So every day is a Saturday.
Every day is a Saturday.
Oh, that's a good mantra to have.
I've been a member of Rotary, Placerville Rotary for 15 years.
Okay.
And been program chairman, past president, ticket sales.
Now, you've kind of run the gamut.
Oh, I've done a little bit of everything.
Right. Well, that's super. And so what we're going to talk about today is Rotary International. And I thought probably a good way to kick off our talk was for you to maybe talk about the big picture of Rotary International, and then we'll dive into what our club's done specifically as it relates to international projects. So,
okay, Rotary International was founded in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
It was the first club. It was a meeting of four gentlemen, all of different professional disciplines, and the club. It was in the early 1900s, like I said. The second club of Rotary International was in San Francisco, California.
Wow. City by the Bay.
City by the Bay. Today, there are 34,000 clubs. Not members, clubs.
34,000?
Yes, with 1.2 million members.
Wow.
Now, a lot, yeah, that's...
I'm surprised, just in thinking about Rotary, I wouldn't think that it's that large. I mean, I know it has a pretty wide sphere of influence, but to have that many clubs is pretty impressive.
Now, the amazing thing is you think, oh, this is, founded in Chicago,
right.
Moved to San Francisco, and grew from there. But only 31% of the members are in North America.
No kidding.
Yeah. So what that means is they're from China and India. India is actually the second biggest country, the second biggest members. And all around the world, just about every country in the world has Rotary clubs.
So if you travel abroad, you cannot use the excuse that there wasn't a Rotary club to meet your meeting.
That's correct.
Okay.
I've even had fellow Rotarians go on cruise ships where they have Rotary meetings.
There we go.
So it's a lot of what I have to talk today about is you got to keep in mind that there's 34,000 clubs doing these things.
Okay.
And it is truly has a worldwide impact and presence. The basic premise of Rotary is helping others succeed. That's not the official motto or anything, but when you boil it all down, it's just helping.
Yeah.
Now, each club and each district and the Rotary International, the main body, has 6 different areas where they like to help others succeed. The first one is peace and conflict resolution.
Sounds good. Yeah. Who doesn't need a little peace and conflict resolution, right?
Well, a lot of people say, well, that sounds so ethereal. How could they affect peace and help resolve conflicts around the world? Well, what they've done is they've set up at 6 universities around the world. There's only one in the United States, a master's program, and they award scholarships every year.
Okay.
And to get one of these masters or certificates, They have to study the resolution conflicts, viewing other people's point of views from within a different prism.
So who goes to these universities? Is it just a member of a club who wants to be more in tune with what's happening?
It's an actual, they get an actual master's program.
No kidding.
And they're awarded scholarships through the Rotary. So
Okay.
there's nominees.
I got you.
And, can't be, your own kids
Right.
or anything, no relatives, none of that nepotism stuff. But after they graduate with this degree, a lot of them work for NGOs, non-governmental organizations, the World Bank, the UN,
Gotcha.
that type of thing.
So they go into service.
So they go into service, and they're well prepared for it. The second area that the Rotary focuses on is disease prevention.
Right.
Treatment and prevention. And most of you have probably heard of the polio programs.
Right.
And polio is one of the a lot of people, you probably don't remember when your kids had polio and go to school with polio.
Well, I don't want to date myself, but that would be an accurate statement. I do not remember that, sir.
It was the scourge of youth.
Right.
Is polio. And with Rotary's assistance, they've got 99% of polio cured throughout the world.
That's incredible. I get the this close, right?
Yeah, we're
this
that
close to finishing.
close.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, last year they declared India a polio-free
That's
country.
amazing.
So there's 3 countries left in the world: Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Uganda.
Okay.
So we're working on those, but we're that close. They also have programs to combat malaria, educational programs that provide nets, insecticide-treated nets for kids. They've got AIDS programs. There's a number of programs where they send out teams of doctors to do surgeries for like cleft palate problems. Dental teams will go out.
So is there like a Rotary International hub that is responsible for sending these teams out, or is it individual club based? How does that kind of the mechanisms of that function work?
It's actually both.
Okay.
There's I can give you some examples of what our club
Super.
has done. I've written some of them down. When they had the big earthquake in Haiti, our club sent 2 shelter boxes. Now, what a shelter box is, it's a tent for a family of 10. It's all the cooking utensils, fuel, some blankets, all the things you need to survive. And the Rotary has done a real good job at responding to these emergencies. More recently, we sent a shelter box to the Philippines for the big hurricane typhoon they've had over there.
And so we're able to do those types of projects because of the fundraising and the fund development that our
When
club
we have
does.
a fundraiser, this is the type of thing we do with
Right.
the money. I kid other fellow Rotarians. It seems like all we do is raise money and give it away.
Right.
But we give it away to these sound causes, both locally and internationally.
Yeah, we kind of do a global and a local type of giving
Local?
strategy. Yeah,
I like that.
I stole it.
We sponsored a local gal that wanted to be a teacher and help in an orphanage in Kenya.
Okay.
We've worked with Cameron Park on, they actually took the lead. We helped support their efforts.
Cameron Park Rotary.
Cameron Park Rotary.
Okay.
On a Philippine water system.
Neat.
They had problems with consistent water system and storage. And so we, Cameron Park went over, raised a bunch of money and with us, and they went over and helped install this big cistern system.
Good deal.
They also developed a floating hospital. It was supposed to be a floating library, but it turned out that they used it for like a birthing.
You're going to have to help me with floating hospital, right?
Well, it's like kind of like a barge, a big boat.
Okay.
I mean, this is not like the USS Hope or anything.
I got you.
And it has a shallow draft.
Okay.
and it's actually made out of marine grade plywood.
No kidding.
And they can get into some of these swampy areas in the Philippines
All right.
to service the local community.
So obviously the thrust of the international projects is in third world developing type of areas, or projects where maybe there was a disaster that Rotary felt the need to go in and help.
We've worked on sewage systems down in Mexico with one of our past presidents. We helped rebuild a library that was wiped out due to Katrina. That was a big project.
Neat.
We send trees for troops. We know of every veteran in the county that's serving abroad, and we help pay for the shipping these trees abroad to them with a little goodie package. And
so we do a lot more than just meet every Thursday.
That's right. That's right. Even we've got one that's been going on for 5 years. A lot of people in our club don't even know about it. It's called Teach a Man to Fish program.
Okay.
Every year, myself and another Rotarian go down into Mexico and award a surf pole and a reel and to a young deserving fella. That
so you've been doing that about 5 years?
About 5 years.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So those are the key things that our club has done.
Okay.
And I don't want, but you got to imagine there's 35,000 clubs in the world doing this type of thing directly. Now, sometimes these clubs, if it's a real big project, they'll apply for a grant from the Rotary Foundation.
Okay.
Now, Rotary has a foundation, and it's optional for its members or anyone else to contribute to that foundation. And today, the net worth of that foundation is in excess of $1 billion. That's 1,000 million. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of zeros, Ray.
Now, they don't spend that every year. They spend about 200 million a year.
Okay.
Assisting other clubs, other districts, and for major projects from Central Rotary itself.
And so that foundation was built up by gifts from Rotarians across the world?
Rotarians across the world
Okay.
and philanthropists.
Awesome.
We'll even partner with people, for example, Bill Gates of Microsoft has donated a challenge pledge. They'll match us for dollar
Really?
for everything we put into Polio Plus to end polio in the world.
So we're going to get that done then, Ray. I mean, that's basically what that means.
We're this close.
Good stuff.
You know, one day I was even walking through the Chicago airport, and there's Jackie Chan.
All right.
On a big poster saying this.
Okay,
close.
yeah. Well, neat.
So,
well, good deal. So we did some cool things local. Any other things that you wanted to share as it relates to national projects that you think our viewing audience, our vast viewing audience, would want to see?
okay, well, we talked a little bit about water treatment and sanitation. Another major focus is maternal and child care.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of moms out there in the world that don't know much about birthing and child care and precautions. And we even have teams that go out and help train local birth teams around the world. Basic education and literacy is another area. The Rotary for years has had major book programs providing books, reading materials, instructional methods around the world to areas where literacy may be on the high side.
Well, even right now, you know, we're doing a reading program at my Boys and Girls Club. So all of our kindergarten through third graders are reading, and Rotary provided us some books for that program. So I mean,
local and abroad.
Yeah, it's
a big deal.
Full service.
And finally, my sixth point on the major thrust of Rotary is economic and community development.
Okay.
There is something, every district, which there's over 500 districts, has what they call a group study exchange. And for example, what our district will do is we'll have an adult leader, usually a Rotarian, and they'll pick 6 young professionals of various vocations within the district. Usually they're 21 to 25, somewhere in that young range. And they'll go over to another district, somewhere else in the world. And they'll go from Rotary Club to Rotary Club to Rotary Club within that district and meet with similar professionals at a different part of the world to see how
they do it.
they conduct their business.
Interesting. Now, what's that called?
It's called the Group Study Exchange.
Okay.
Now, this is sponsored by Rotary International.
Right.
And
Have we done that locally?
oh,
Or-
yes,
Excellent.
yes. Every
Good.
year we'll have a team from somewhere
Okay.
that comes in, and that's the district we've exchanged with,
All right.
somewhere else in the world. And
So it's like an exchange student program.
it's like
almost.
exchange students for young professionals.
Excellent.
So that's one thing. They have what they call ambassador scholarships.
Okay.
Now this is a little different than the peace and fellowship scholarships.
Okay.
And the ambassador scholarships, our main focus is to promote economic and community development throughout the world. Okay.
Wonderful.
There's a lot of vocational training, materials, equipment that these teams can go out and offer different countries. You know, it's like the story of, you know, buying a guy a cow so he can start his own dairy
Right.
business.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, that's it. Other areas are to assist in disaster recovery,
Okay.
and that helps the economic and community development.
Sounds like it. One more question for you, and then we're going to get going. Ray, I wanted to ask you about the foundation. Can you talk a little bit about the foundation and kind of your take on that?
Like I say, I can say that the foundation is probably one of the biggest of its character in the world.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest in the world. It's highly effective. It's rated, you know, there's these foundation and charitable giving rating awards. It's very effective in terms of what they get for every dollar.
Well, the amount of money that you talked about earlier is just incredible. So,
Yeah, it's over, like I say, over $1 billion,
Right.
over $1 billion in assets. And every year they give grants for all these various projects on the Rotary International, the district, and the local club level, at least $200 million.
Super. Well, I just, you
And
know,
it's one of these sustaining endowments, too.
Right.
There's two parts to it. There's the annual fund and the permanent fund.
Okay.
The permanent fund is a sustainable endowment. In other words, the only money that they spend is money that they've earned. So it's a permanent. The annual funds they spend, if our club gives our club usually puts maybe $6,000 to $8,000
Okay.
in there. The Rotary keeps it for 3 years, and what the interest on that money is used to fund the actual foundation.
interesting.
And then they return the rest of it, 50% to the district, to the worldwide funds, and 50% to the district.
Okay.
And when the district gets the money, they grant it. But if we apply for a grant, we apply to the district, and we get some money
I
back
got you.
for some projects.
Excellent.
We've gotten a number of $2,000 and $3,000 grants for various projects that we want to do.
Super. Well, Ray, I really appreciate you coming by today. I think that, you know, people are going to have a much better understanding of Rotary International. I think the biggest takeaway that I have from listening to you today is just the widespread good that Rotary can do.
It's immense. Like I say, 34,000 clubs wanting to help other people succeed.
Well, nothing wrong with that. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to Ray. And this has been the Rotary Wheel. I am Sean McCartney, and we'll see you next time. Take care.